the battle over Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 is becoming more intense by the day. As Parliament continues debating one of Zimbabwe's most controversial pieces of legislation, another voice has joined the growing opposition. This time, it's Honorable Thomas Muwodzeri, and his message is clear. CAB3 should not move forward in its current form. But why is he opposing it? And why has this bill become one of the most divisive political issues in Zimbabwe today? Let's get into it. Zimbabwe's parliament continues to witness heated debate over Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, commonly known as CAB3. The bill, which has sparked fierce discussions both inside and outside Parliament, is now facing opposition from Honorable Thomas Muwodzeri, who raised concerns about the proposed constitutional changes during parliamentary proceedings.
A nation that cannot properly fund the commissions it has should not be created commissions it does not need. Amen. Mr. Speaker, additionally, the committee has corrected not necessity for what it described as meticulous coordination between ZEC and proposed delimitation commission. It put into this House, if the two bodies must coordinate so closely, what precisely is the utility of their separation? You have taken one institution, split into two, double the administrative costs, and called it efficient. This is institutional manipulation masquerading as reform. Yes. Mr. Speaker, the proposed transfer of voter registration and maintenance of voters roll from the ZEC to Registrar General represents one of the most constitutionally alarming provisions in this bill. The House must not have a short memory. The very reason voter registration was removed from the Registrar General and placed in ZEC was institutional credibility. The voters' role under the Registrar General was to use the most restrained available language, the subject to profound public concern regarding manipulation, partisan management, and executive interference. ZEC was established under Section 238 of the Constitution as an independent constitutional commission precisely to insult the electoral process from the executive end. The Shona have a saying, Section 235(1)(b) of the Constitution mandates that independent commissions must be independent and must not be subject to the direct or control of anyone. The Registrar General is a government department. It is headed by a public servant who answers to the minister, who answers to the president. There is no constitutional independence whatsoever. To invest the voters' role, the very instrument of electoral participation in such a body is to subordinate the right to vote to executive discretion. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, it has on record opposed
his intervention comes as lawmakers remain sharply divided over the future of the bill. Supporters argue that the amendment is necessary to improve governance and strengthen national institutions. Opponents, however, believe the proposed changes could weaken important democratic safeguards that are protected by the Constitution. Speaking during the debate, Muwodzeri reportedly questioned whether the bill truly reflects the wishes of ordinary Zimbabweans. According to critics of CAB3, constitutional changes of this magnitude should enjoy broad public support and should not be rushed through Parliament. The opposition lawmaker argued that the Constitution belongs to the people and that any amendments must protect the democratic principles that Zimbabweans voted for when the Constitution was adopted. This argument has become one of the central themes among those resisting the bill. The debate surrounding CAB3 has grown far beyond Parliament. Across the country, political parties, civil society organizations, constitutional lawyers, and ordinary citizens have all expressed strong opinions on the proposed amendments. Some believe the changes are necessary, Others fear they could alter the balance of power within Zimbabwe's political system. As a result, every speech delivered in parliament is being closely watched, and every lawmaker who takes a position is becoming part of a much larger national conversation. Supporters of the bill maintain that constitutional amendments are a normal part of governance. They argue that constitutions must evolve to address new realities and challenges facing the country. According to this view, Parliament has a constitutional responsibility to debate and refine legislation that affects national governance. They insist the process is lawful and should be judged based on the content of the proposed changes. But opponents like Muwodzeri see things differently. They argue that constitutional reforms must be approached with extreme caution. Their concern is not only about the specific amendments being proposed, it is also about the long-term impact those changes could have on Zimbabwe's democracy. Many critics believe that once constitutional protections are weakened, it can become difficult to restore them later. That is why they are calling for greater scrutiny, broader consultation, and more public involvement. Now, here's the question many Zimbabweans are asking. If a constitution is meant to protect future generations, who should decide when it is changed? Should Parliament alone have that power? Or should the people themselves have the final say? That question continues to dominate discussions surrounding CAB3. And it is one reason why the debate remains so emotional and politically charged. As Parliament continues its deliberations, pressure is mounting on both supporters and opponents of the bill. Lawmakers must now decide whether the proposed changes are in the best interests of the nation. The outcome could have lasting consequences for Zimbabwe's political and constitutional future. And that is why every debate, every speech, and every vote matters. For now, Honorable Thomas Muwodzeri has made his position clear. He believes CAB3 raises serious concerns and deserves closer examination before moving forward. Whether his arguments will influence the final outcome remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the battle over CAB3 is far from over, and Zimbabwe continues to watch closely as the constitutional debate unfolds. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with Honorable Thomas Muwodzeri's opposition to CAB3? Should constitutional amendments require broader public support before being passed? Or do you believe Parliament should have the authority to make these decisions on behalf of the people? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Zimbabwe and Africa news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
The amendment proposes to limit and reconfigure the functions of the defense forces in ways that the proponents claim will reduce undue military influence in civilian governance. Mr. Speaker said, I put it to you and to this House, this amendment does not reduce military influence in governance. What it does, what should alarm every member of this House, regardless of the political affiliation, is strip to defense forces of their constitutional mandate to uphold the Constitution itself. Consider what that means in practice. The obligation to uphold the Constitution is the legal basis upon which the defense forces may, in extremes, resist unconstitutional conduct, including unconstitutional conduct by the executive itself. It is the provision of the anchors of the military which the Constitution, rather than purely political framework, remove the obligation, and you have defense force whose loyalty must runs not to the Constitution of Zimbabwe, but whosoever issues the command. This is dangerous. This is not a military theory, Mr. Speaker said. This is a matter of constitutional architecture. A defense force that is no longer constitutionally mandated to uphold the Constitution becomes, by necessary implication, a force accountable only to its command hierarchy. Command hierarchies are appointed by and answerable to the president. The consequence of this transformation of the constitutional anchored military into an instrument of executive will. The minority submissions on this clause warned correctly that the amendment could dilute the military's fundamental commitment to uphold and protect the supreme law of the land. Mr. Speaker said, dilute is too general word. The removal of constitutional fidelity obligation does not dilute the commitment to extinguish the commitment it extinguishes. It converts the constitutional duty into a discretionary act. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, the argument that the amendment is necessary to prevent military interference in civilian governments is constitutionally secular. The existing constitutional framework already deletes